Record. Awesome. Well, it's a good showing. There are more players that couldn't and parents that couldn't make it today to the meeting. But this is a really big step uh for me. I've kind of been on the hunt for three things. There are three goals that I'm really working on in Gladiator, kind of big picture stuff. The first one is, sorry, let me just let someone in here. The first one is facility for us, something professional, something that, you know, throughout the year that we can have that's ours, that after these types of things work out, that we can start creating these connections with coaches abroad and bring them over to run camps and different things. So a lot of our players, even the ones that aren't on this call, can have opportunities to get scouted, but also see what the environment and what the expectations are of professional coaches. So that's kind of that first pillar that I'm working on, the facility. The second one is something that you've seen, and that's our coaches, right? So I've made it a really big point that every single coach that comes into our academy now, doesn't matter if it's 5 years old, 6 years old, every single player gets coached by a top coach. And what that means is that either they have a top license, A license or B license in Canada, or that they've played professionally at the highest level for a long time, or both, right? And you could see our new coach, Adrian, that really demonstrates that. He played for Team Canada, he played for TFC, he's coach, he's going for his A license. So, that's the second pillar of what we're doing. The last thing is what we're meeting here about. And it's my goal that within the next 5 years, that there's going to be no doubt that if a player wants to go and play in Europe, that the first thing that comes to their mind is they got to go through Gladiator to get there. And this is the first step, and this is the first trip in what will hopefully be a lot more trips. The goal is to do 2 to 3 every year if this works out. Um, sorry. And that's the goal. Getting you guys who most of you have developed under Gladiator. I look at some of these names and players, Angelo, Savannah, and it warms my heart to watch your development. And I personally just believe that you are ready for that next level. So for me, this is really big, and I'm excited. And this right here, Antonello, who I'm going to turn it over to in a second, is the man that's going to make this happen. I do want to start by saying that going to this, I just want to be clear, our players cannot get signed right now. There is absolutely no chance. Okay. So until you are 16, there is no chance of getting signed by a professional club. The only thing that could happen if you have a citizenship, I don't think anyone here, maybe one or two, have Italian citizenship, but other than that, it's not possible in Europe. So, what we are going for is two things. Number one, you go there to see where you are at in comparison to the professional club. And if they are interested, then we have created a connection for you that we can go back every single year until you are 16 when they are ready to sign you. And the second thing that we want out of this is the experience. It is an amazing experience to go to these places and train in a professional environment under professional coaches. It's a different model. These are places where it's not pay to play. These are players that their attitude is different than Canadian players, all Canadian players. So we are going not just for us to get a connection, but also for the experience for the individual child. Having said that, I'm really excited to introduce Antonello. So, Antonello, I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm going to turn my mic off, and I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Cesar. Okay, first of all, hi everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Antonello Inverso. I am a certified scout. I'll give you just a very quick and brief background. I'm Italian, as you can tell from my accent. I moved here 10 years ago. I used to work with Toron FC when Jovinko was playing with AC Milan. And then a few years ago, I started my own agency. And now basically I'm recruiting players from North America, Canada, of course, and South America, where I spend most of the time between Canada and South America, and of course, Italy. So, as Sergio was saying, the goal, of course, is always to provide players an opportunity, open doors, as well as experience, depending on the age group. Of course, I highlight that, as Sergio said, before 16, you cannot be signed. So everything you do before that is just to build up the player, the relationship with the club, and of course, depending always on the skill level of each players. Basically, they will determine, if they want to keep working with you, they want to still see you. Because at the end of the day, I always say, the field never lies. So if they really see there is a prospect or talented players, of course, they want to keep an eye on him and they want to keep working with him because for them, it will be an asset for the team or for the future, maybe a future transaction if they sell the player. So the idea of this, of course, is to build, that kind of bridge with Gladiator, to give each player the opportunity to build his own path, to build and get stronger, to eventually get to the point where he has a real chance to get signed with a club. I have here a quick presentation, a deck that I usually share with whoever is interested. As you can see, this is those are some of the countries where I operate, where I send kids. Mostly, of course, are European because I'm Italian, but there is also, for example, Dubai, which is a very emerging and expanding market in terms of soccer, and a lot of players now they're aiming to go to Dubai because, of course, it's as everyone knows. Money-wise, it's a good opportunity, but also because, of course, soccer-wise, it helps you to maybe grow without too many pressure because the league is a little bit different. Here, of course, it tells you all a little bit of myself, who am I, what I'm doing. This was an ID camp with AC Milan. I also do ID camps again in Canada, in South America, where it's the first step to select player and provide, the best player this kind of opportunity. Mission, of course, creating something unique and giving something unique to the kids because I used to play soccer. I know what it is. I know when you play soccer, you're a kid or you're a teenager, what you're going through. And sometimes, as when I was a kid, of course, you don't really share everything with your parents or sometimes with your coach because you may feel ashamed, you may feel uncomfortable, and that's part of the process, right? So that's why it's very important when you play soccer and as any other sport, you need to grow as a man first, right? Or as a girl, and then as a soccer player. So those are all the services that we offer. As you can see, the cities, the age group, tournament, ID camp, scouting and signing opportunity with all the country that I mentioned before in the first slide. Those are the approach, what we do. Basically, as I said, there are different steps to identify players. In this case, for example, I meet up with Sergej. We had a couple chat, and when I realize and when I see that the coach or the directors, they know the game, they know what they're doing. Basically, we start a mutual relationship where it's based on trust, of course, and transparency. That's the most important thing for me. So when it comes to Sergio and say, okay, those are the best players that I think I have at the moment, that's how then we start the process. Like, with a video, then there is an evaluation. Then you start based on the evaluation and the video. I start searching clubs. I start trying to plan what's the best outcome for the player in terms of, finding a club and based on his skill level. And here there are just a few examples or some of the club's partners. Of course, I wasn't able to put all of them because there are way too many, but Just to give you a quick understand, I mean, here there is Rayo Vallecano, Malaga, that's in Spain. There is, of course, CD Leganes or Portuguese team. So basically, I have access to a lot of clubs in Spain, in Portugal, in Italy, just because, again, I'm Italian. I mean, honestly, I can get whatever. But also, I always say at the beginning for a player, rather than just get the player, and because at the end of the day, here in Canada, as in US, most of the time you're playing in an environment where there's no pro, right? So you can just get a player and send the player right away to a first division club. That's not how it works, because at the end, for the player, it will be a very huge I don't want to say trauma, but most of the time they got like exhausted because the soccer is way different, the way they are prepared, the way they play, the pace, the intensity. So I always say it's always better for the player in order to give him the time and the space to develop and to actually get adjust to all the context, to start always from maybe a lower division and work his way up. Because I do believe it's way better to start one step lower and go up rather than start from the top level and go down, because once you start going down, there is no way how you're gonna come back, especially in this world, because soccer is so dynamic and it changed every day. So whatever it's real today, tomorrow it's a different story, unfortunately. But that's how it is. I mean, and that's life, to be honest with with you guys, as you know better than me. Now, those are some of the timeline. Of course, there are, the 2 weeks option, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and that's also depending on the player. There is also 1 week. I mean, I didn't put, of course, all the option, but at the end of the day, what I also try to do, I always try to accommodate whatever, need or wish from the coach, the academies, the parents, the players. It depends on the age group. And so basically, I try always to customize to make this experience, this tryout, the best way possible for the player, because again, it's not easy for a young player, leave home and go in a different country, different language, different culture, different time, different way of playing. I mean, it's not easy. And sometimes, to be quite frankly with you, most of so the pro players, we're talking about players, they are playing the national team, the youth national teams, when they got signed, after a couple months, they were not able actually to perform because they were not able to actually adjust to the difference. That's why it's important. And that's why when you start, when you're younger, like, at this age, for example, it's key, and it's crucial, because once you gather this experience and once you're able to deliver and performance in this context, then if in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, when you actually have the age to get signed and you get, put in a different environment, for you will be easy because you've been there. You already has experienced something like that. So it won't be for you like, oh my God, where am I? What I'm doing? Actually will be something familiar. And everyone knows that working in a familiar context, it's always easier because it allows you to be less tense and more focused on what you're doing. So playing soccer and, and deliver, which is the most important part, because of course you will be evaluated on these 2 weeks on how you deliver, right? But also always tell all the players that it's very important for me that they know that the most important part is to go there, I mean, and enjoy the ride and have fun. Because when you play soccer, soccer is fun. I remember when I was a kid, I was enjoying just playing soccer. I didn't care about anything else. I want to play soccer. So at the end of the day, you need to have that kind of mindset and bring it in whatever contest and deliver. Like, just have fun, because when you have fun, you're able to deliver. You're able to provide everything you want. And at the end, without even realizing, you're performing at the best of your level, and people are like, oh my God, this kid is good. Of course, when I say kids, I mean, this is also for girls. I mean, because nowadays, I mean, since FIFA actually invested in female soccer, and finally they did, now also in Italy as in Europe, every team have, every pro team, they must have also a female version. So now this is also growing. And of course, there are also opportunities for girls. So at the end of the day, there is no differences in boys and girls in terms of trying out, in terms of rules and regulation. They works aligned. So And now, actually, in Italy, of course, there is a huge market in terms of the one, girls coming from North America because they know the North America soccer, female soccer is very good. So they're actually looking for female to go and to get signed because, of course, they're stronger, physically stronger, they're like faster, So they believe that put in a different context where they can actually teach you technical and tactical stuff, that can be like a proper player. Pricing, of course, in this case, I mean, here, it will all depends on when you go, time, the club. Some of the club, depending on the videos, depending on the skill level of the players, they can determine if, they're gonna provide something, they're gonna pay for something, they will can be 50-50, 20%, can be nothing. That really depends on the level of the players. But that's something, to be honest with you, that start, when you're a little bit older, when there is that kind of chance they can sign you. But that's also an option. Um, for example, those are some of, the picture of the training of the some of the players. They went some sort of specific. This was like a customized training for the kids during the morning with the coaches from Serie A, coaches from Sampdoria and Genoa. The same thing, like, we are trying. I mean, no, we are providing for you guys. So in the morning there will be customized, personalized training with the coaches, and then in the afternoon there will be the actual. In the evening there will be the actual training with the actual club and the actual team. And those are some of the drills, some of the picture. And this guy, for example, this is also from Toronto. This guy went, as you can see, I mean, this is logo is Genova. Genova is a Serie A team, first division actually. So this guy is one of the few that from North America, with me at least, he went to Italy, and basically, he had the proper age, and the club offered everything. Basically, they liked the guy, so he went, he trained with them. He spent 2 weeks, and the feedback was very good. Of course, he need to work, on some stuff, and he's doing. And now actually, he's going back in May to try to get signed and finally, fulfill his dream and his family dreams and everyone, so to play professionals in Italy. In regards of the accommodation for you guys, there are some option on the table right now. Those depending I mean, if we have a go, like we commit to go. Of course, the clubs, they have different hotels that they use for those kind of situations. So once we know, they will provide us, they will tell us, okay, this is the hotel, this is so they can book. This is one of the hotels, for example, they use. This is in Sestri Levante, which is where eventually we were going. It's near Genova, north of Italy, near the beach. So it's also a nice location. This hotel is also used from the club. Some of the kids, they play with the club. They actually stay in the hotel. Those are the rooms, standard regular rooms. That's, for example, the dining room, or when you guys have breakfast and lunch. And well, that's pretty much. I've been sorry if I was fast. I didn't want to spend much time just on the presentation because I'm assuming you guys might have some question. So please, if you have any question or anything, I'm here to answer.
Awesome. Thanks, Antonello. Um, just before we get into the questions, I want to do everything in the presentation. I know flights is going to be a really big issue, not issue, but a really big consideration for everyone. So, funny enough, you can call me a points nerd. I don't know if you can see this. I'm very obsessed with flights, points, and those types of things. So I just want to give you guys some strategies. There is no one size fits all when it comes to finding the right flight. So there's a couple of things that you should know right off the bat. It is very rare, from what I've seen, to find a flight that is direct to where we are going. Um, and the best way for you to find these prices is simply, and I'm going to do this with you right now. So you just look up Google Travel, and then you can go in here, and then you'll write in where you're going. So we're in Toronto. We're going to MXP. Okay. Here you can also change the if you're going to fly economy, business, that kind of thing, number of people, round trip, or one way. So the trip for us is looks like it's May 5th is when things are starting. It's about 14 hours with a stop. That's the shortest amount of time. So a Saturday, Sunday. I'm probably going to be looking at around a Saturday here. You could even go Friday, you can go early, that kind of thing. So if we look at like a Friday, for example, and then it's on the 10th. So if you want to stay an extra couple of days, maybe to see Italy if you're there, even an extra week, whatever you want to do, then you go into this search here and it'll go through and then it'll show you who to fly with, right? So this first one is Condor, which is for me the best price that I found. So it's here. And then essentially you repeat the process. So you will go Toronto, and then you will go MXP. And then again, it'll show you these prices here. This is in US, so I will show you how to change that. But again, we're looking at around the fourth to, for example, here, one adult, continue with one passenger. Condor has some really good prices, and what I like about it is one, you can change that to Canadian, so you can see the Canadian price, but you can see here the different prices, right? And then economy, premium, business, you have all that there, and then you can pick from that as well. I'm going to show some other options as well. I know I'm sure there are some people out there like me who are obsessed with points. So there's Aeroplan, American Express points, those types of thing. This is called Seats.aero. Okay. And what it does is it looks up the points, the best deals with points wise. So if you think of this is cash. It shows you the flights, all the flights that exist for cash. This is all the flights that exist for points. So I'm going to do the exact same thing there. I'm going to click YYZ to MXP. I'm going to change to the date to the 3rd. Okay. And then here it looks like Aeroplan is the points with 700. And then you can go into your Aeroplan and then you can look and you'll be able to find that. Sorry, that's business class. So economy. But if you're, at this point, it's worth it. Um, yeah, it's really unfortunate, and we'll be able to plan this better later on as we continue to grow. Just for your personal, you know, knowledge. Aeroplan is really great. They have some really interesting sales. And what I mean by that is point sales. So you can go in and you can buy, and I'll do this actually right now so you can see here. I'll just sign in. Let me just unshare here so I can get into my account and then I'll come back in. Just give me a second. I've done already been there. Okay, just give me 1 second. I just got to get the code. Everything has codes now, eh? Takes you like 12 hours to get it. All right, one, no, no, no. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong code. It looks like the right code though. Oh, here we go. I got a lot of codes. Uh, okay. Here, now I can share my screen here. Okay, so I just want to walk you through this because there are some really good opportunities. So here you would obviously just click book with Aeroplan points. And then if we look, I just want to confirm this. So look, Saturday, we would go here and we would go the Saturday. I don't want a round trip. So one way, three, and then I will search for that. Okay, and then you can see where is the flight. Oh, that's weird. Was it on the Saturday or the Sunday? Oh, it's on the third. That's why. Oh, that's weird. Maybe the seats are gone.
I think with points too, they
There it
only give
is.
so much. Oh, you found it? Okay.
Yeah. So this is it. I just guess it's the wrong day because maybe someone booked it. But this is the flight that I've seen that's always there. It's a long flight. It's a cool flight. This is business class, but again, you saw the cheapest there, so that's 65. Um, but the cool thing here is that you got 14 hours in Zurich. So, um, I mean, that would be cool. Yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to show you. The other thing as well is points wise. You can go into your Aeroplan account and you can buy points. This is not for now, but just in general. They do have sales throughout the year where it's you buy points and you get like the same amount of points for free. So for example, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm not sure how to do it here because I do it on my phone usually. But if you buy 70,000 points, they give you 70,000 points for free. They don't have that sales now. If you opt into um, their program, then I mean their newsletter, then they'll send you those things. But yeah, so oh maybe it's Aeroplan offers. Anyway, this is just some information for you as well. Uh, I could do a full class on different different points and how to do that because there are thousands of different opportunities. If you have American Express, you can go in with like to get that Condor flight. There is a way to pay with points. You transfer from American Express to Hawaiian, from Hawaiian to Alaskan, and then through Alaskan, you can book that exact flight. So there's a lot of different opportunities and things like that. If you want me to, I can show you all these things. But yeah, that's kind of it for now. I think now let's open it up to questions. I know this is, I think, the best thing, the reason we're all here. I know there's a lot of questions, so go for it. You can, if you want to raise your hand, or you can just unmute and start talking. Up to you guys.
Okay, so just this is for a week,
Yeah, so the trip that we're doing here is Italy for a week. It's May 5th to May 10th. Um, yeah.
and that May 5th to 10th, there's a schedule like for the full day with the
Yeah,
kids.
so we sent that out with everything else. I can send that to you later. But Antonio, do you want to just go over the schedule?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, for now, this is for a week. Of course, there can be done also 2 weeks, but it depends. That depends on you guys on how you want to arrange it. And also going back to the flight, yeah, eventually, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there is actually a flight from Montreal to Toronto, to Milano,
Yeah.
direct flight. Like, I don't know if that's the one you were saying.
Yeah, so if you go into the Aeroplan,
Yeah,
that's why there is no direct flight from Toronto to there. That extra, there are
yeah.
stops in there. Those flights are a lot more expensive because those are lie flat seats.
Mm.
So the one with Swiss Airlines, the business that's available, it's not lie flat. It's just a bigger seat.
So yeah, it's important that the airport, of course, the in Italy should be Malpensa because that will be the meeting point. So of course, once you guys and wherever wants to go, it's important that, I mean, if you wanna go earlier, that's a different story. But the fifth, everyone has to be, there because so when they come in to pick whoever is going up, it will be just one time. They can just go and go back and forward, right? So has to be as a group. I mean, in this case, whoever is going to go, if it's 5 people, 10 people, 12 people, 20 people, whatever, it's a group, right? So everyone has to arrive at the same time and everyone has to be on the same kind of schedule, of course. And in terms of the program, yes, this one, as I said, it's for a week at the moment. It can be changed. Right now, it's a Monday to Sunday, basically. They will have retraining during the morning with the pro coaches from Serie A, which is third division. So they will have training in the morning, and then in the afternoon they will have evenings. They will have 3 to 4 other training with the actual team, where basically they will be put in the whatever team, U12, U13, U11. That's gonna be the team where they will be training and they will be doing the tryout. So basically, the idea to have extra training during the morning, it's also to provide them more soccer, more coaching, and also a way to actually, again, get them adjust faster, because they're gonna be touching the ball all the time, every day. And it goes from Monday, of course, to Friday. Saturday, it's off because Saturday usually they don't train because usually there are either games on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then the Saturday, so it's free, and then Sunday you guys can go back. So that's the program and everything. Of course, it's included in terms of 3 meals, accommodation, airport pickup and drop off, transportation to off the field if needed. And then of course there is the when it comes to the actual tryout, there is they provide the uniforms and scouting evaluation, and there will be of course a points of reference for anything. Of course, at the same time, I'm going to be always on spot. I might actually be there because I'm going back to Italy for an international soccer tournament for Easter, so I might be there as well. And yeah, that's pretty much the format. But I guess I send I send it to you, Sajab, right? The itinerary with all the information. So
Yeah, I think
you guys can,
I think so.
So the assessment and tryout, is there feedback or results to that? I understand that nothing can happen at this age, but
So it will be yes, it will be an evaluation on the player. Of course, he cannot be signed, so that's a FIFA rule. So basically, there is no such a thing that a kid, teenager, younger than 16 can be signed unless the family will move with the player. That's a different scenario. But I mean, that's an option, but of course it's a different scenario. That means that all the family has to move with the kids and stay, because being a minor, there is no way you can sign. When you're 16, you're still a minor, but there are different rules. As long as there is a point of reference or like a tutor, the player can sign and can stay.
Bertha, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you for all the information so far. It's a really great opportunity. We consider this like a tremendous work just to put everything together. But we have a few questions. The first one is about is is there any chance that Pablo can travel by himself, not to stay all the trip alone, but just to join our daughter there? We have an older daughter. She lives in Europe, so she can join him at the airport to pick him up. If we can't travel with him, is that an option?
I mean that once you arrive, the sister, she will pick him up.
Yes.
And bring to the. Yeah, I mean, that's as long as we know and everyone is on the same page, and in this case also whoever is in charge going, yes, because of course, I mean, there must be at least, being minor, a family member, or there must be someone from the club or Sergej himself in terms of, representing those kids, because of course they cannot fly by themselves. And in this specific case, if you're as a parent, you're okay with that, and Sergej as the director is okay with that, I mean, we're cool. I mean, as I said, we always try to accommodate as long as then we are on the same schedule, of course.
Okay, in that case, if this is like a viable option, just of course after further discussion, if we want like just to determine how we can make it work, how it will work, the schedule for the meeting point, because you mentioned that everyone must fly to this specific airport because that's going to be the meeting point, but you also mentioned that everyone can like travel 2 days after or later, or how it's gonna work? Or
No,
do we have to
basically,
call someone?
yeah. No, basically, I mean, ideally, that's why I said, I mean, the trial is the from the 5th to the 10th. So ideally, and usually, because again, when you travel as a group, I mean, you have to travel as a group. So a group, even if it's 20 people, it's just like one person. So basically, the 5th, you need to arrive, and according to the schedule, you need to arrive to Milan in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever. You arrive to Milan, and that's when then, once we know the flight details, of course, they're gonna come and pick you guys up and bring, to the hotel and then to the facility. So for exception, of course, I mean, if there are exception, I mean, once the 5th at that point, I mean, if he goes before the 5th, he should be meeting up at the hotel, but we need to, I mean, it's doable, but ideally we always try to keep the group together, just because if then everyone start, like
Okay, that's right. So you will coordinate that. Everyone that it's able to travel will let you know and set all the following steps, and you will be the one coordinating that, like timelines when we have the flights, or.
Yeah. So ideally everyone should be there the 5th, because that's when we start. Now, again, if you want to go earlier, of course, that's up to you. If you want to stay longer, that's something that we can do. If you want to stay and do the same thing, like keep playing soccer and trying out, we can do. But then again, if you want to go earlier on your own, you can go. And then that's then the 5th, we should be, all the group has to meet up together. And if not at the airport, then they can meet up at the hotel, because we will have the information. But and then at the time when they're gonna meet up at the hotel, then that's when we start, because again, it's important also that they start also being mentalized and focus on what they're doing. So they need to stay there together, and like a soccer player, you need to be there. You need to start building that kind of mentality and also vibe. If you start like going around, it's kind of distracting from the goal of this trip, right?
And how far is the hotel from the airport?
Milano, it's like an hour and a half. That's on Milano. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's near, but as an option, Milano, it's better in terms of flying. But another option that you guys might be interested eventually, and that was something that I was going to tell you because I was chatting this morning with the club. The city is Estri, which is near Genova. Okay, Genova, of course, the airport is there, Genova. There are not as many flights as in Milan, because Milano is an intercontinental one, is international. Genova, it's different. But I mean, if you decide to break the flight, like if you go like Swisserline or whatever, for example, you go to Zurich, then of course from Zurich, there would be flight to Genoa as well.
Got it. So Genoa, you said, is closer to
Genova is the
Sofia?
Sestri Levante, basically is Genoa. It's another city, but in Italy, they're all very attached, and that's very close, yeah.
So how far would that be?
Genova
to the
will
field?
be to Sestri 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah. And the other, depending on the traffic and everything, the other one, Milano to Genova, it's an hour and a half.
Oh, hour and a half.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Now, the 5th is a Monday, and I'm guessing we're going to start early on that Monday. So,
The idea is the 5th, yes, they're gonna start in the evening with the club.
oh, in the evening.
Yeah, because usually, ideally, I mean, coming from Canada, North America, usually most of the time you're gonna arrive in Europe or in Italy in the morning, right? Morning, late morning, it depends. So the idea is there won't be time to do the private training. So you're gonna start the Monday with the team, and then you're gonna have your for training in the evening, and the daytime training might be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. That's something that also we can work on based on also you guys, how you feel, how you want to do it, or we can just do it and plan it. No problem.
Got it. Okay.
But for sure, you're going to have 3 training during the morning with a personal coach, a Serie A coach, pro coach, and then 4 training in the afternoon, in the evening.
Got it. So there are 7 training sessions.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And sometimes, to be honest, after 6, they say it's enough because, of course, it's tiring. But yeah, that's
Okay.
really up to you guys. Yeah.
Cool.
The hotel nights, which days cover from the 5th to the 10th to the 9th, or how it will work? If, for example, we arrived a day before, is that covered already, or it's something in addition that we
No,
have
that's
to?
from the 5th to the 10th. And those hotel, the one that I showed, that's one of the hotel that is used from the club.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's from the 5th to the 10th.
Okay, so if we need to arrive a day before because the 5th is gonna start everything so early, we need to find a place for the Sunday.
The 5th is going to start in the evening, he
In the
was
evening.
mentioning.
So you have,
So, so what time? Because if it's an hour and a half away, like what time? And from what I've seen flight wise, a lot of them are actually in the evening. Yeah, so there's the Condor one arrives at 4:15. But that would be Sunday, so that would be 4:15 on the Monday. What time is the training in the evening usually?
4:15 p.m. in Milan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, like I can show you it here.
that's no, that's late.
Yeah.
Because even if you do a 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., you can
Yeah.
just get there and go on the beach without even.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have to, no, because usually when they come always in the morning, like 10, 12, 2 o'clock, the latest. So you have time. But let me ask them about this. Of course, I'm gonna call them tomorrow morning and I'll let you know.
Yeah. And then because it could also be that we do come the 4th instead of the 5th, and then we stay there the 4th night, which I think will be good with jet lag and flight
Yeah, I
and
was just gonna say that
yeah.
that's gonna be tough for the
Yeah.
jet lag.
And especially for the kids as well, and and then they come into a pro session. So I think that, maybe going even and having it covered from the 4th to the 10th would be a lot better.
Okay.
Hi, excuse me, I have a quick question. So we're gonna plan leave early for sure. So is this possible we can go there in the morning, like start training instead of nighttime?
Sorry, I didn't get the
Yeah,
question.
that's a good question. She's asking because they're gonna go to Italy a lot earlier. So
Yeah.
for players that are going earlier, and to be honest, I think if we can, I think most players should go early. Would it be possible to add the Monday into that private session in the morning?
Yes.
So at the end, the important, yes, as I said, you're gonna have 3 training in the morning. So that's up to you. I mean, we can do Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Got
for
it.
example.
Okay, so
If of course you arrive earlier, so that's why tomorrow I will chat to the club and see. And then you're gonna have your evening training. So the day session, they are like a private training with a pro coach from a Serie A team, which is a third division team. In the evening, you're gonna have the pro training with the actual team, a pro team, youth team, where the guys gonna have the tryout.
Thank you very much. For sure, we're gonna be arrive early, and for sure we want to do start in the morning, please.
yeah.
That's what I request. Thank you.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is that it doesn't matter when we get there, that there's 7 training sessions included in the package. So even if you come earlier, then you're still not getting more training. So there's for the week, doesn't matter what week we go, we get 7 training sessions. So I think is that correct, Antonello?
Yes, also
Yeah.
because unless, I mean, at the end of the day, I know that especially in North America, I've been here, I know that people like, you want to train every day, all the time, and I get it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you can really put the kids on that kind of pressure, especially when you go and you train in a different way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, usually at that age, in Italy at least, they train 2 to 3 times a week. That's it, no more, for example, right? So by having 7 training, it's quite a lot.
And I think
All right.
it's also a really good opportunity, like on that Monday, if you're there to get it, you can, and if we get that hotel to go and look at the area, get to know the area a little bit more, and kind of see what's going on.
There is actually, sorry if, yeah, that's a good point that I was going actually to tell you guys. There is also opportunities, maybe like the Saturday, there is a free day, or in this case, maybe the Monday to do some sort of sightseeing, for example, because I mean, Sestri Levante is near Genova. Near Genova, you have Portofino, you have the Cinque Terre, which is there are very beautiful, beautiful places, right? So there is also something that, you can also take advantage.
Yeah.
Parents, but at the same time also the kids, because at the end of the day, as I said, I mean, everything helps, to build, right?
Yeah. There was a question in the chat about summer training. Antonello, can you talk about the break that the academies have?
Yes, in summer, that's a good question. I know that again in Italy, like in Europe, to be honest, I mean, it's a bit different from North America, especially Canada, where in summer you train a lot and you play a lot because of the weather. But in Italy, basically starting from in Europe, when I say Italy, it's Europe, most of the countries, Spain, Portugal. When you start from June, mid of June, sometimes also beginning of June, there is a break. There is a summer break where players don't play soccer at all. So June, July, there is a break. Pro clubs, but the first team of the pro clubs, which means the famous soccer player, they start the preseason in July. And then most of the youth team, they may start August, September, depending on the age group, depending on the division where they play. So basically, June, July, there is no soccer.
Yeah, and I think for us moving forward again, I wanted to get this trip going as fast as possible so we can get that experience before the summer ends, so that we can figure out what things are going to look like next year. So if this is a really successful trip and we get everything that we want out of it, then I'm going to start to plan things a little bit more according to schedules of, the players. So winter break, March break, those types of things. So moving forward, as I mentioned, we're not going to do one trip. We're going to have multiple trip. And the more we can work with Antonello and the more that we can work with you guys after these trips, we'll kind of have a better sense after the first trip of how we move forward, right? Because there might be some players that, the club really likes, and that kind of changes the next trip. And then there might be some players that say, you're not really as technical as we need, or something like that. And then the conversation is, okay, let's maybe go somewhere else. Right. And then the other conversation is, do you want to go somewhere where, we can try and develop, and then it's not a week, it's maybe a month. So maybe if you need technical training, you're going to Spain, right, for a month, and then you're doing the training with top players, top coaches, and you're getting that, right? So there's a lot of different conversations that we're going to have after this trip, but this right now is an experience, and that's how I'm looking at it. To train with a professional club, to go to Italy in a really great time of year, and to just have fun. I mentioned this with all the parent meetings that I have. You know, kids are, they're only going to be this age once. So these trips that are really great, they can be family trips, they can be great adventures, and it's a really great cultural moment, right? Because soccer connects everyone. So to go to Italy and play with Italian players, even if nothing comes out of it, it's really cool. It's cool to see that. There's another question here. Is there a minimum of participants to be reached? No. Uh, Whether it's one, two, three, I'm going. So I'm going to be there. This is not, I know Antonello was saying group trip, but this is not, this is an individual trip, like individual player wise. We're not doing teams. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. Those are what I call fluff trips, which is you go with a team, you play a lot of local teams, and there's no exposure to anything. So that is just not what I want. I want this to be a real trip where we can go and test ourselves. What is the pro team called, Antonello?
Yeah, the pro team, there is Sestri Levante, which is a third division team from
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah, and I'll share that with you as well. I'll send
And
that.
they also have the female version, of course.
Yeah.
in case you have any female. Yeah.
Yeah, so two of them are here, and yeah, there are two there.
The parents, do they get to stay with the kids in that same facility?
Yeah, if we know how many people, yes, that's why, as I said, then we need to see how many people decide to go to see, also talk to the club and see for the availability for the hotel, the one they have nearby the facility.
Okay, so the parents don't get to stay with the kids.
No, they can.
Oh, okay.
But we need to know numbers just because, I mean, in this case, I mean, of course, also being a minor, it's they understand that, it's different than from a guy who goes is 16, 17, which is already older. So that's doable.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, and did I miss that the hotel information was already shared?
No, the name, as I said, we need to see how many people, because we need to check availability. There was a slide just representing one of the hotel the club use usually for those kind of experience tryout, and they also use with their actual team, with the youth player, sorry. So there was a slide. It's I don't know if you didn't see it, but it was this one. Those was the hotel.
Is there a way that if parents can just meet at the hotel, is that also a possibility? I know it's an hour away, but I know some parents want to come days early, and they're going to be exploring Italy. So is that also a possibility, just to meet at the hotel?
Yeah, so that's why I said it's very important just for us to understand. I mean, first of all, to know how many people, and then to know, and that's something that I'm assuming they will be doing with you, Sajab.
Yeah.
So how many people will be at the airport, because we need to know. I mean, the club need to know.
Yeah.
To organize the pickup, right? And then to bring them to the airport, sorry, to the hotel. So at that point, the meeting point will be, of course, for whoever goes earlier, will be the hotel, for sure.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that if you are not going to arrive, I think we should do it on the 4th rather than the 5th,
Yeah,
Antonello.
tomorrow I'll talk to the club and let you know.
So if you are not going to arrive on the 4th and you're going to be earlier, then it's your job to get to the hotel by yourself. So let's call it a carpool from the hotel to the field to from the hotel to the from the airport to the hotel. That's going to only be available one time, right? So now the good news is we're in Milan, right? So you can hang out in Milan for a day. You can hang, and just meet. So yeah. These are all great questions, though, by the way. Please ask more. Any more questions? Anything else? No.
I'm just trying to understand now. Okay, so we get the assessment and we had a great experience and we understand how, Europe plays ball. Now, what is the progression from that point on?
I think that will depend on the individual player, and the family, right? Because the conversation is going to be either at the end, hey, listen, he did really great. We want to see him again. And then it's up to the family to be like, okay, now we're going to plan to do this every year. We're going to plan to do this twice a year, it's totally up to you at that point. And then there are going to be other conversations where, you might want a different experience and you might want to go to a different country. So everything that I am doing right now, moving forward, is individual. And this is why Antonello is here to help us, is very individual based and what the player wants and what the parents want, right? Because if you like where you're going, you can keep coming every year, right? It's really up to you and what you want out of the experience, right? So it's going to be very based on the individual. Yeah.
Understood. Thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question. When is the last day to decide?
That's a good question. Antonello, when should we let you know by?
Well, that was in the document that I
Yeah,
sent
I saw that.
April 5th, which is a month previous, because
Yeah.
of course, they need to know, they need not only to organize, because there are a lot of nowadays, people and groups or players, they go, and this is the time where usually you're gonna have a lot of people traveling for trial. So they need to know, because once they say, okay, we're gonna be busy with these players, then they won't accept anyone else. But at the same time for the hotel, and so they need to know. So April 5th is going to be the deadline, 1 month prior.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? That's a good question, Andre. Is the tryout indoor or outdoor? What's the weather like in Italy?
No, it's outdoor. In Italy, there is no such a thing indoor.
Is it
Yeah.
warm there?
But now it's warm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be May, so people are already going to the beach, to be honest. I mean, so yeah, no, May,
Yeah.
knocking on wood, because but no, May, it's hot.
Okay.
It's good though that it's not super hot,
Yeah, I
or
agree.
like 40 degrees, but
Yeah.
you may find 25, 28,
Okay.
23. Like it's a beautiful weather.
That's awesome.
It's one of the best season, May.
Just regular shoes, Andre. Right? Like just cleats.
Yeah.
Yeah, cleats. Yeah.
And
Question.
of course, sorry, if they want to bring, of course, they will have a t-shirt, but of course, sometimes, cleats, of course, but then if you whatever, like extra socks or pants, something like, that you may use, of course, they're gonna provide you with the uniform, but, be prepared also like to bring some soccer stuff.
Yeah.
Quick question now, with everybody's different age group, and I believe Europe's soccer has different divisions. How do they mirror either their age or their skill set? How does that work? Because don't they have different divisions, and I forget what it's called, but
No,
like
in
you
this
go
case,
with a tier 1 or tier 2, that type. It goes by divisions. Am I right, Sega?
So this is why we're doing it this way versus what you'll find in other clubs is this isn't are you talking about, sorry, the professional game, or are you talking about in the youth age groups?
Just in the youth age groups, how
Yeah.
does it go by age? Does it go by skill set? Does it go by divisions? Because like they would have to, I guess, do an
Yes.
assessment first, no?
So in Europe, in Italy, again, it works age. So U12, you play with U12. Sometimes the age group goes like 2 years, like 12 and 13, 13, 14, it depends. And then on skill level, like you may be 12, but you may be playing with the 14. In Italy, that's not such a problem. That's not such a thing, because if you have the skills, why not? And actually, it's a good way for the 12 to even improve, because you're gonna be play with someone who is older. So basically, the regular division, it's age, and then the skills.
Yeah, and all the professional clubs are in one division, right? Is that right?
Professional, there are like first, second, third division.
Sorry, I meant in the youth ranks.
Oh yeah, and the youth,
Yeah.
the age group. Yeah.
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 And that's a really good segue, that he mentioned, and this was the point that I was going to mention, because every single player on this call is going through the European model with us. And what he mentioned with playing up, I look at every single one of you, and I know your player has trained up with older players, or and probably also has played at a higher level than where than your age, right? So Angelo plays 2016. Savannah plays tier 1 boys, right? Jacoby trains with the 2012 boys. Same with all the other 2014s here that are on the call. So, this is the European model, and that's what we're following, so that we can consistently make sure that our players are getting the same challenges here that the players in Europe are getting, right? And that's why I know, like, I know, for example, that the two girls going into this tryout are going to blow it out of the water. Like I just know that because of the quality of boys that they're playing with, and I know that there's no one that can compete there, right? So for me, this is going to be a really great opportunity to see where the boys in Italy are and compare that with everyone here, right? And that's really why I'm going, right? Because I need to figure out what the next step for us from this point is, and how we're going to tackle that, right? Because I think you're all fantastic. I think the players are fantastic. But we got to make sure we're keeping up with the Europes, and so that when they're 16, they can go, and then it's easy.
Yeah. And Sergio, that's a good point, because most of the time when I send players, not just from North America, but also South America, every time, I mean, as I said, most of the time, when they go, maybe Italy, Spain, can be Greece or whatever, they always tell me that the major issue they see in the player, even if they're good, technique, tactical, whatever, the pace and the intensity.
Yeah.
That's something that, because of course it's a different way of playing, and if you don't experience the different way of playing soccer abroad, and by abroad it's in Europe, I mean it's tough because you always play at the same level, so you need those kind of experience if you want to actually improve and get to that kind of standard where you have a legit opportunity to sign and play pro.
And for those players that are going, obviously, I will know who you are, and we will be providing those opportunities at even a higher intensity before you go, right? So, like for example, if Savannah is going, she's going to train with the 2011s, right? So we're going to take that up a notch, right? So if Angelo's going, he's going to train with the 2015s, right? So we're really going to make sure that the intensity, the physicality is not just you're there and this is the first time you're experiencing it, but it's something that you've experienced before. Now, we'll see how that goes, but we're going to do everything we can from our point of view to get them ready. And this is stuff that they've already been experienced with, right? And they're not comfortable in a team setting because this isn't a team setting. So, and I've had a conversation with a parent about this, right? Like, if we just had teams training together, then you're comfortable. But because you've trained and played in different training sessions with older players, played on an older team, our players can play anywhere, right? I look at Angelo, he played 2016 this weekend, right? And it's a team that he doesn't really train with. So that's what Italy's going to look like, right? I look at, Armand, same thing, right? He trains with the 2012s, right? So it's these types of opportunities where this is where other clubs are lacking. And I hear stories about teams that haven't lost a game in, 5 years, and their kid goes and he gets destroyed because he's so used to his teammates being in what position. And what do you do when they're not? Right? Like what do you do in that sense when, your friend Johnny, who you know so well, is not where he should be? Right? Because some guy is coming in, tackling you both feet, and another teammate is not where you don't know what to do. But I think our players do. And I think our players are ready for the unexpected. And that's what we do, especially with our 1v1s that you know as well. Yeah. Any other question? These are all great. We've got Antonello, so please, if you have anything, please ask.
I do have another question.
Yep.
If let's say the parents couldn't go, but my 18-year-old daughter, is she able and legal to represent the family?
You mean just to go with Jacoby?
Yeah. Because I cannot leave and not leave her back. She wants to go to Italy from day one, so she will not be able to stay back. And we would have to somehow afford it and pay for it. So send her with Jacoby. But she's 18 at that point. Or would she be?
I think whoever goes has to understand also the demands of, why they're going, which is for the player, right? Like Antonello said, there are going to be experiences and stuff like that that we could do. But the soccer is the most important part of this trip. Now, if you want to go earlier, that's why I think some families are going earlier and staying later so they can get both in kind of one shot. But for that week, that soccer is really important, right? And if we stay up too late, if we go out and we do certain things and we do experiences, then the players are just not going to be at 100%, right? If they go and they eat pizza and this and gelato and all this, and then they go to sleep in a place that they're unfamiliar with, they don't get a good night's sleep, then that has an impact, right? And we really want to put our best foot forward when we're representing, you know, Gladiator and when the players representing themselves, because unfortunately you only get one first impression with these guys because there's 1,000 more players that are looking for this opportunity. So when we go, I know what you're capable of, and that's why, you know, the players are on the call. But these coaches don't, and they're not going to care. And it's not a bad thing. It's a reality check for some of these players that this is just what things are going to look like when they get to 16. You know, and we talk about also university and college, and that's even more competitive, right? Because now you're talking about scholarships, and that's a very competitive environment. So, you know, like it's great, you know, if someone wants to come with, but for that week, it's got to be about the player. It's got to be, you know, what do you need? You know, is everything okay? You know, after the training session, you know, how'd you feel about that? Okay, what are the challenges? You know, these conversations are really important. You go into a session, you don't understand the language. You go into a session, it's intense. And in Europe, this is livelihood for these kids. They know if they can make it pro, some of them come from poor families. It's a different thing. There's so much pressure on these kids, right? And you're going to get an intensity that you haven't seen before. And that's why we push them to play with older kids, because that intensity is just not, it doesn't matter what tier you're in here. It doesn't matter. You can't, the emotional toll that comes from the parent to the kid to make it so that that one kid can rescue the rest of the family is so tough. And that's what those are the players that they're playing against. So that first session is going to be really tough. So someone's got to be there, right? And, you know, we're sending kids. So the emotional part is so important, right?
Got it. Okay, thank
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to share information about a ticket. Antonino just mentioned about the ticket stopped by Montreal. I think that's the shortest flight I can search. It's only 11 hours. It's departing Saturday, May 3rd. So maybe that's the best option.
Yeah, I think when it comes to flights, you know, there is what you're looking for, because there are two scenarios to go. One is shortest duration and two, cheapest flight. So that flight that you mentioned is not going to be as cheap as the other, as Condor, right? But it is the shortest. That's right. So that's why I kind of gave families that, you know, in that little presentation that I have. Air Canada is really great to go. Safe, great, and reliable, and it's the shortest route, like you mentioned. But Condor is the cheapest option from what I found, and it's also a good airline. It's German based. Yeah. Those who decide to go, will we ensure we travel together if we are leaving on the same dates? Yeah, so what I'm going to do, if you can, by the 5th, what I'd like, if you're going, is your itinerary. So your flights, everything. And then what I will do is I will match those itineraries together with Antonello. And then we'll figure it out, essentially. And then I can share with you guys who's going when. I know, for example, if Pablo wants to go alone, you know, if there are families that are willing to travel with him, that kind of thing. Yeah, so flights are on you guys. You know, I think Antonello and I know that there's no one size fits all, and some people are going to be paying with points, some people are not. Some people have family there, some people don't. Some people want to be early, some people don't, right? So what we'll have is the 4th and he'll confirm tomorrow where we have a time and a place. And if you're there, then you get, a ride. And if not, then it's up to you to get to the hotel by yourself. And that's just the easiest way to do it. That's a good question, though.
If earlier or even later, that meeting point will be in the hotel, right?
Pardon?
The meeting point will be in the hotel. It's not in the airport. If you come earlier or later.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And that makes sense, right? Because if it's an hour away to do that trip over and over and over again, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions? Cool. This is really exciting for me personally. I'm really excited to go. I also have a lot going on, but yeah, this is the next step, and it's a fun opportunity. I don't want there to be a lot of pressure on the kids. That's not what we're going for. Go with the attitude. Go have fun. Go see what it's like to play in a professional environment. Very little amount of players make it to professional. And I guarantee you in 20 years, right, this is a story. I went to Italy when I was this age and I tried out for this club and played with the professional players and this. It's awesome. It's great. And we're going to do a lot more of these, hopefully. So, let's go and, we'll explore Italy. It'll be fun. It'll be a cool gladiator trip. Take pictures and just have a good time. Awesome. Yeah, cool. So next step, please send me an email as soon as you know. I will get confirmation from Antonello just regarding the 4th that we're going to go now from the 4th to the 10th. And yeah, that's it.
Sorry, one last question. So regardless of when we arrive, will there be transportation for the kids and the parents to and from the training every day?
Yeah, as I said, yes, if needed. It depends. That's why it depends on the hotel, because one of the facilities just attached to the field. So it depends.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure when you said if needed because I heard that, but I was like, I wasn't sure if that meant.
And
Okay.
also regarding the staying, I mean, also in case everyone is going earlier, and if let's say you're going to Milano, for example, and you decide to stay a day or two prior, the actual tryout, I mean, then at that point can still be on the Monday morning, you guys can go and meet up at the hotel eventually. That's also an option in case. I will ask for tomorrow anyways for the 4th, but also if you go earlier, I mean, also like I would like to know, I mean, if you actually going earlier to Sestri or you going early and you're gonna spend 2 days, 3 days, or a week, I don't know, you're gonna be in Venice, you're gonna be in Milan, like just also to organize, eventually the pickup or the meeting up at the hotel.
Yeah, communication is just going to be really huge because we're doing this so individual. So let us know everything about your trip, and yeah, awesome.
Is there a hotel near the airport that you could recommend so that if we go early, we could kind of use that as home base until we meet with everyone at the airport for the shuttle transportation to the hotel on the particular day?
You mean if you go a day earlier in Milan?
Right. Is there a hotel near the airport in Milan that you would recommend that we could use kind of as a?
There are, I mean, to be honest, there are, but I never like stayed in any of those that I usually when I used to stay like in Milan, like downtown when I went for meetings, not at the hotel. There are, of course, hotels, so I'm assuming those ones they're very similar to each other, to be honest. Like in Canada, I'm assuming, of course, then it depends also on what you're looking for. Same thing as I was saying for the ticket. It depends also on that, I'm assuming.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Any other questions? Anything else? Cool. All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
Awesome. Bye, guys. If you have anything else, we'll stay on and we'll wait. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, coach.
Bye, coach.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll stop the recording as well.